This is Joe Smith from the Midwest Football Podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It all helps us grow our show. Look for our full show, too, anywhere you find podcasts. Links below.
All right, but let's do the 71 shuffle down to Cincinnati next. The Bengals had a real quiet free agency period, and I have to believe that Joe Burrow's upcoming extension, which will probably include most of the city of Covington, Kentucky, looms large in those decisions.
First of all, Joe Burrow, the true Lion King or Tiger King, sorry, we can make him a new Netflix documentary on him with both LSU and the Bengals and Bucks, but there's no Tigers involved in that. Their big acquisition was Orlando Brown, which was interesting that Kansas City let him walk, and he got paid a lot of money, but I think that's an upgrade. I mean, they threw a lot of money at the offensive line last year, and they didn't really get the results they wanted. They still had a bottom four offensive line, but you got to keep Joe Burrow up. I mean, that guy, he's going to deserve all the money in the Brinks truck they're going to be putting in his driveway. And it'll be interesting because they didn't make any moves other than Orlando Brown. And I think that is, like you said, they got to pay Joe Burrow. They got to figure out what to do with T. Higgins. His contract's coming up, and Jamar Chase is going to be wanting paid soon enough. And I mean, you could be talking $50 million for Burrow per year, and you could be paying Higgins and Jamar $20 million, $25 million soon enough. And that's your whole team. What would you do? Would you trade Higgins or would you pay him? I think that's the big offseason. It's extension.
Yeah, I'm not the world's biggest T. Higgins guy. I think he's a very talented receiver. What really, I think, killed the Bengals offense last year, I mean, obviously they were fine offensively as a unit.
Oh, yeah.
But the reason the fantasy numbers weren't what we thought they were going to be is because some of us expected the tempo to increase. Of the teams that have big-time NFL passers, the Bengals are an anomaly because they're running a slowdown tempo and all the other top quarterbacks are just cranking out the plays. Obviously, we know why they didn't do that. It's the offensive line. They love Joe Burrow and they want to see him remain alive. So you do that, and you're of course gonna not get the yardage and the targets, but you're gonna win the games because the passing's still gonna be efficient. It's just gonna be fewer plays.
Speaking of fantasy football disappointment, what's your take on the Joe Mixon situation? He did okay by the end of the year, but he was pretty disappointing most of the year. He had a big breakout year when people probably started benching him. And I think he got into another legal issue. I don't know what it is. I'm not commenting on it. And there's a lot of rumors that they might try to move on from him. Allegedly, yeah.
I think that the Bengals wanted to continue to run the ball, and the tempo kind of aided him too. Go ahead.
I also want to add that they already let Samaje Perine, his backup, walk. I'm not even sure who's behind him on the depth chart, and I deep dive this stuff for Dynasty. I'm not even sure who's there right now. I mean, maybe they're going to pick up Zeke. He's on their short list. They're on his short list, I should say.
But I think the big story here is going to be, what is Joe Burrow's contract going to look like? Because I think it's not just the Bengals that are kind of antsy and wondering about what the future is going to hold. I think there are a lot of teams that are going to look and see what that contract looks like, and that's going to be the normalization.